Hey friends, David Lee back again for a little bit of Daring Deeply 10-minute life hack. Friends, have you ever heard someone say to you, it's not that bad. Cheer up. Could be worse. You should be grateful for what you have. Have you ever heard that? Or perhaps, if we're honest, perhaps we've said that to someone else. Ooh, Today, friends, I'm going to highlight one of our, when I say our, Daring Deeply, where we serve high achieving professional men and women in life, leadership, and relationship coaching. We have 10 and what we call guidelines of engagement, 10 rules, if you will, on how to engage first with yourself best, honoring yourself, honoring your boundaries, honoring your love, your presence, your voice in life, and then how we can show up, how we can provide space for someone else. We call these the Daring Deeply 10 guidelines of engagement. And I'm going to highlight one of those today, and it's this. And I took it from some ancient scripture and just reworded it. But what it is celebrate and mourn together as one. I'm going to say it again. Celebrate and mourn together as one. So what does that mean? It simply means this. When someone is struggling, perhaps the best thing that we can do for them is to struggle with them. Right? And when someone is celebrating, someone has something incredibly tremendous to share, a win has happened, that we celebrate with them. Too often in our society, and we see this a lot, especially in a divisive, if I can speak, a divisive culture, which we tend to have. It's not just today, by the way, right? It's all times. People are people. So why should it be that you and I should get along so awfully? I don't know. Music always comes into my mind, friends. That's actually a quote, that's a line, that's a lyric from a Depeche Mode song back in the 1980s. People are people, so why should it be that you and I cannot get along so awfully, or we cannot get... The point is this: people are people, right? People struggle, and it's difficult, and there are times when we disagree, and we're not necessarily understanding why we disagree, and then shame and ego get in the way, and we tend to do just the opposite of this guideline of engagement. We actually celebrate when others mourn, or we mourn when others are celebrating. Have you experienced this? Either on the receiving end or the projecting end? Let's be honest. I certainly have, right? I have felt powerful tinges of envy and jealousy throughout my life. When someone celebrates, when someone has a win, there are moments when I'm like, why can't I have that? Why do they always get it? What's wrong with me? What about me? What about me? Anyone else relate? Yeah, this is powerful. This is hard. This is difficult. And so we're highlighting, this is why this is one of the guidelines of engagement with Daring Deeply, again, is to celebrate and mourn together as one. Imagine if more of us, imagine if we began with ourselves, that we celebrated with those who are celebrating, right? And mourning with those who mourn. Specifically, I want to talk about what I've highlighted here at the top of this, is when you hear someone, right, receive your discomfort, right? Something rotten has happened. A circumstance has occurred. Perhaps it was a poor choice, and now you're receiving the consequences of that poor choice. And someone with whom you care for, right, someone with whom you have an investment in, comes to you and says, it's okay. Don't be sad. It's not that big a deal. Things will be better. Let's look at the glass half full. How does that make you feel? Right? I don't know about you, but I kind of want, yeah, I'm not condoning violence, friends. Okay, but it just makes me want to slap them upside the head. I don't want to hear the glass is half full. Look on the bright side. It's not that bad. You should be grateful for what you have. In fact, what I want to hear is, yeah, that sucks. I can understand that. I've been there. How can I help? That's mourning with those who mourn. What I've come to understand, and I was just listening to one of my mentors, Brene Brown. You may know of Brene. Brene, if you happen to be watching this, shout out to you, my friend. What I've come to understand, I was listening to a podcast of Brene's, and she was talking to a specialist, and forgive me, I cannot remember the name of this specialist, but they were talking about this idea of emotion, right? And how we interact with others when it comes to the expression of emotion, especially difficult, charged emotions, anger, rage, fear, sadness, depression, celebration even, right? And we often are uncomfortable in our own skin around those who are expressing deep, charged emotions. Ooh, we're not sure what to do with it. We're uncomfortable with ourselves. Have you been there? Have you felt this? I have. Right? Someone is deeply emotional. What do? Oh, don't cry. It's okay. Here's a tissue. Oh, don't feel. Aren't we? Aren't we saying that? In essence, we're saying, don't feel because that makes me uncomfortable. Brene was highlighting this particular quote, and it's this. I'm going to read it from my notes here. Ultimately, when we hear someone dismissing or diminishing our charged emotions, it's going to be okay. Look on the bright side. You should be grateful. Ultimately, this is what we're saying. My comfort is more important than your reality. Oh, did y'all feel that? Oh, I'm going to say it again. My comfort is more important than your reality. In other words, I'm uncomfortable with the emotions. Okay, so I'm going to dismiss or diminish by trying to make it better. We often hear this as toxic positivity. Have you heard this phrase, friends? Toxic positivity, where everything is going to be rosy and cheery and we shouldn't feel, and we should hide and bury our emotions, that we shouldn't feel bad. I've experienced this and I've done it to others. Full confession. This is toxic positivity. Ultimately, again, I'm going to say it again. This is what we say is my comfort. When we dismiss someone's charged emotions, this is what we're saying. My comfort is more important than your reality. Woo. What can we learn from this today? My challenge to all of us here today, those of you that are watching, is to be mindful of how we respond to someone's celebration and their sadness, their mourning when shit hits the fan, right? That we step into their emotion with them. We don't apologize, right? We avoid saying things like, oh, I'm so sorry you feel that way, right? That's actually pity, right? They don't want pity. We don't want pity, right? We want empathy. We want the other person to step into the pain with us, right? We want those to mourn with us, celebrate with us. So I challenge all of us to be more mindful of how we respond to charged emotions. And perhaps that could turn someone's difficult time and turn the corner just a little bit because they don't feel alone. It's one of our greatest fears is when things are difficult that we feel like we're the only one on the planet feeling it. Perhaps if we responded to those with whom we care for, right? Friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, with an idea of empathy, that we step into the pain with them, that we mourn with those who mourn, maybe the world would be just a little bit shinier, right? Not without blemish, but perhaps we can celebrate with one another in how resilient we can be when things do go wrong. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure if you're on the YouTube channel that you subscribe, hit that little bell so you know when we have new videos come up on the Daring Deeply YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching. And if you want more information about what we do, how we serve, support high achieving professional men and women in life, leadership, and relationship coaching, drop me a message. Thank you so much, friends. Have a great day. Bye-bye.